We had wonderful writers on the show. Ron Osborne and Jeff Reno wrote a number of episodes, most famously the Shakespeare episode, Atomic Shakespeare. And every episode did go through my typewriter, but Atomic Shakespeare, rather uniquely, I don't think I did very much to, except maybe the last 3 or 4 pages. But they were great writers. Roger Director was a great writer. Chick Egley, who does The Shield now. Yeah, there was a room, and we would talk, and we'd sort of start to come up with plots, and people would go off and write. But it was pretty haphazard. I'd never really worked on a show in a capacity like that, so I didn't really know how to run it. So we just sort of ran it however I felt like running it on that particular day. Oh, everything went through my typewriter. Yeah, the final rewrite was always mine. And then I was in the editing room. And very often I was on the stage directing. I mean, I kind of did everything, but not only me. I mean, like I said, we had really good writers. The guy who was really by my side through the whole thing was a gentleman named Jay Daniel, who was the physical producer. And he got so good at anticipating me. He'd come to me and go, "Glenn, what are we shooting? We don't know what the rest of the script is." And I go, "There's a pie fight." And he'd say, "Where's it?" And I'd say, "In a ballroom." And he'd say, "Okay," and he'd get a ballroom. And he'd wait, and the pages would come. And I mean, he was amazing. He was amazing. I was very lucky. I had great people around me.
Now, the show was known to be behind schedule. Why did that happen?
Because I was a big snob. I had no interest in doing television. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this in a way that pleases me. I'm going to shoot them till they're good. I'm going to rewrite them till they make me laugh. And sometimes that took more than, back then it was 7 days an episode. That took more than 7 days. And I would also do this thing, which sounds incredibly pretentious, and is incredibly pretentious, but I believed it and still do. They'd say, "Where are the pages?" And I'd go, "They're not ready yet." And "Why aren't they ready yet?" And I go, "Well, I'm waiting for the truth." And they'd say, What does that mean, waiting for the truth? And I said, I really believe there's like television truth. There's this thing we have these expectations of what characters would do, because we've all seen thousands of hours of television literature. So we sort of understand the haiku of how people behave on television. And then there's truth. There's that thing that you see that startles you, and yet you go, "Of course." And I would sort of wait for that. And sometimes that didn't come conveniently. I explained it just that way, and it was an interesting time, because ABC really only had 2 hits. They had Moonlighting and Who's the Boss? And so they were very, 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 gentle and very generous with me. I'm not sure I understood quite how generous they were being at the time. I also believed with all my heart that this was it. I'm going to do this show. This show's going to end. I'm going to go do movies. I'm never coming back. And I was very young, probably very cocky, certainly very stupid. And I was, like I say, afforded an amazing amount of generosity by Lou Ehrlich, by Tony Thermopoulos, by the people who worked for them. It didn't hurt that the show was an enormous hit and culturally, fairly significant, and brought a lot of attention to the network at a time when it needed it.